Imagine pouring your heart, soul, and every waking hour into building your family's company from the ground up, only to be told at the peak of success that it's being handed to someone else. Someone who never lifted a finger. Someone who laughed behind your back. That's exactly what happened to me. But they didn't see what was coming next. If you've ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or betrayed by the people you trusted most, then buckle in. This isn't just a story of corporate betrayal, it's a story of redemption, revenge, and justice served ice cold. Like, subscribe, and let's dive into one of the most satisfying takedowns you'll ever hear. The Rise. My name's Ethan. I wasn't born with a silver spoon, but I was born into the shadow of one. My father, Raymond, started a small industrial parts business when I was about 6. Back then, it was just him, a storage unit, and a beat-up Ford truck. I remember riding with him on deliveries, watching him haggle with suppliers and pore over spreadsheets late into the night. He wasn't a bad father. But he was cold. The kind of man who believed affection was weakness, and success was the only form of love worth giving. My older brother, Nathan? Let's just say he had a different relationship with Dad. He partied through high school, crashed 2 cars, and still somehow got bailed out every time. I was the one with perfect grades, interning at the company during summers, sacrificing college parties to help grow the business. Nathan was the fun one. I was the reliable one. When I graduated, I went full-time. At first, Dad let me shadow him. But within months, I was improving logistics, cutting costs, building digital systems. I poured myself into it. 15-hour days, 6 days a week. I didn't care. Because I believed, deep down, that I was building something that would eventually be mine. And over 10 years, we turned a tiny operation into a $75 million a year empire. But success changes people. Especially people who never earned the betrayal. About a year ago, Dad called a family meeting. That should have been my first red flag. He hated meetings. Nathan was there, surprisingly. He had cleaned up, or so he said. Trimmed beard, button-up shirt, suddenly talking about leadership and vision. I thought it was a joke. Dad sat across from me and smiled. A rare smile. I remember the way his fingers steepled, the way he looked pleased with himself like he was announcing a merger. And then he dropped the bomb. It's time for me to step back, he said. And I've decided Nathan is going to take over as CEO. My ears rang. I laughed. I genuinely thought it was sarcasm. But Dad didn't flinch. Neither did Nathan. You're better in operations, Ethan, he said. You don't have the charisma for the top seat. Nathan's been preparing. He understands leadership. Charisma. Leadership. The same guy who once forgot we had a payroll deadline because he was in Ibiza. I stood there frozen. Decades of work, dismissed with a smile and a sentence. The kicker. My equity, my actual ownership, was still tied up in vesting agreements Dad never let me accelerate. Technically, I owned nothing. Nathan moved into my office the next week. I moved into silence. But I didn't quit. Because I had a plan. The turning point. Nathan's leadership was a disaster from day one. He wore $1,000 suits to supplier meetings and tried to motivate our warehouse team with morning speeches quoting Steve Jobs. Our margins dropped, vendors left, clients complained, and I stayed quiet. I played the loyal soldier. I documented everything. Every error. Every breach of protocol. Every HR violation. I met with key team members behind closed doors. I made sure they knew who really ran the place all those years. And behind the scenes, I started building. Using connections I'd built over the years, suppliers, customers, even a few investors, I quietly formed a competitor. A leaner, smarter, ethically run company in the same industry. No flash, just function. I used savings I'd been hoarding for years. I found a silent partner. I worked nights. Weekends. Every second outside of the company I once thought was my legacy. It took 9 months. And then I launched. Revenge executed. We offered better prices. Faster shipping. Real support. We didn't steal clients, we gave them a better option. The market reacted. In 6 months, we took 40% of their client base. Nathan had no idea what hit him. He started slashing prices, burning cash to compete. But the more he fought, the more obvious his incompetence became. Then came the blow that broke them. One of our largest mutual clients, a 7-figure contract, made the switch to us. Publicly. With a press release. I knew Dad would see it. And he did. He called me. His voice was low. For the first time in years, I heard humility. "What are you doing, Ethan?" I took a long breath. "Building something real. Something I own. Just like you did once. Remember?" Silence. "You taught me to earn what I wanted." I guess Nathan never got that lesson. A month later, the company I built with my blood was sold at a loss. Nathan resigned. Dad retired. And me. I was just getting started. The day we passed their revenue benchmark, I threw a party. Not out of arrogance, but as a way to honor the pain, the betrayal, and the lesson. I walked into my office, real wood floors, not that fake executive carpet Nathan installed, and looked around. No portraits. No legacy speeches. Just a team of people who believed in the work. That night, I got an email. It was from Dad. "You were right. I should have seen it." I didn't respond. Some betrayals don't get closure. They get consequences. Sometimes the people who are supposed to lift us up are the ones who try to hold us down. But the best revenge isn't rage. It's results. Build. Grow. Rise. And let your success speak so loud, they can't ignore it even when they're choking on their silence. If this story hit you in the gut or made you grin, smash that like button and subscribe for more real revenge stories that prove karma is real, and sometimes she works overtime.